We are wrapping up this year of the Frostburg Sports Awards, and we're going back to our Berg Awards from this past week with Stephanie King, who is our Female Athlete of the Year here at Frostburg State. Steph, you're the Frostburg State Female Athlete of the Year. You're the Mountain East Offensive Player of the Year, first team All-MEC. The season kind of adjusted itself, but how are your reactions and your team's reactions to all these awards for you?
Yeah, I'm really thankful for all the awards that I received. And, I wouldn't be able to do it without my team and my coaches. And I think we had a great year. We started off pretty slow, but we ended up, putting ourselves on top at the end. We ended up not winning the championship game, but we did fight really hard in the championship. And we ended up losing by 2. But we proved that we should be there every single year, and next year we're going to come out on top.
Absolutely. And you look back at this past year, I look back through some records that we have, and you guys have had back-to-back winning seasons for the program. It's the first time since 2001 that this team has gotten back-to-back winning years, and it's a testament to your guys' play. I mean, a lot of these players are still Division III players that have made the step up. Head coach Taylor Sindel had come in and kind of righted the ship from what was a little bit of a testy time, and you guys really, we talked about it throughout the year, kind of bonded and came together as the season went on.
Yeah, so the senior class and my fifth-year class with Lindsay, we were still Division III athletes, and we were able to transition to be the Division II athletes for our final years. And, it was really exciting to see how much it changed, like from Division III to Division II, and how much Coach Taylor has brought in and changed for us, and pretty much changed our mentality about how our team was in the past and what we can be and what we can become in the future years.
For you personally, next year you're going to take a step up and become a GA for this team and go from player and friend to coach and mentor. And, you've taken this fifth year and it's kind of, seemed to giving you an opportunity to be more of a leader and understand sort of the nuances of what it'll take to be a coach. How are you planning to make that transition where, you're going from, we talked with Lily Stevens a couple weeks ago, you went from a mentor to a friend to a roommate and all that, and now it's going to be a coach. How are you, adjusting to that?
Yeah, so I always knew I wanted to coach once I came to college. I felt like I always had a leadership position with the team that I've been on. And, I feel like the transition is going to be a little iffy in the beginning just because a lot of these girls I did play with, I did create relationships with them as a teammate. But I feel like the respect is there and they trust me as a player and they will trust me as a coach to lead them in the right direction, and be able to help them and create that bridge of player and coach and be able to understand, like, that I can help them and I've been in their shoes and kind of relay that over to the higher power of Coach Taylor and Coach Lyric,
Especially with the freshman class coming in and a whole new wave of players to mentor. But we want to congratulate you on the fine year that you've had, for the awards that you've won for the team performance overall, co-regular season champions, tournament finalists once again. Wishing you the best of luck in your coaching experience for next year as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, next up we will have Bryce Jackson, who is our Male Athlete of the Year. He'll be on for an interview as baseball wraps up their MEC tournament. Wrapping up our year-end Frostburg Sports Awards with our Male Athlete of the Year, Bryce Jackson, who was a first-team All-MEC selection, and our Male Athlete of the Year at the Berg Awards. Bryce, a very fine individual season for you and the team as well overall, winning the share of the North Division title for baseball this year after coming in second to last year. Just, if you could give a little overview of your season for our viewers out there of how everything kind of came together.
Yeah, I think it all started when we transferred a lot of guys in. We brought in some help on the mound, which we struggled with a lot last year, and we just transferred in more bats to replace some bats that we lost last year, and we just found a lot of consistency throughout the whole team, and everybody was bought in from day one.
For yourself, tying the single season record for Frostburg for home runs in a season with 16 with your former teammate Ryan Roll. Started out really hot, was on pace for a lot, and then kind of slowed down throughout the year. But you guys recovered, and you started getting on base, and other guys behind you in the lineup would, get runs in and bat you home. And, it really showed that, for a section, people could say that you carried the team. But, as the season went on, you got so many different options of guys that could hit as well.
Oh, yeah. I told the guys that I've never been on a team this talented ever in my life. So it was kind of relieving. I felt like I had a weight just off my shoulders that I was allowed to have a bad game, knowing that I had a lineup right behind me that was just going to pick me up if I had a bad game. So it was real comforting in the box just knowing that I had a little bit of freedom.
Wanted to talk about the end of the season and, that last series against Fairmont State that clinched the North Division title and, allowed you guys to clinch your first ever MEC tournament for the program. And, on the second day in the second series against Fairmont was senior day for you guys and got to celebrate with some of your guys that you've been here a few years with. Ended on basically a storybook ending with Nick Trey hitting a walk-off 3-run home run. Just sort of that last week of the year, knowing that this was going to be your last week of collegiate baseball, what was sort of all the emotions and things going on with the team and just everything that happened going with that?
Well, it was pretty emotional personally. I've been around the game a long time, and I've just come to a point where we don't know what's next. So I'm just kind of sitting around waiting for that. But for the team, we knew going into that series that we needed 3 wins to clinch the division. And after losing the first game of the series, we were kind of backed into a corner. Like, we knew what we had to do. So that last game where Nick Trey hit the walk-off home run, I think emotions were extremely high. I think we knew that we were going to win that game. It wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when and who was going to do it. And it came down to Nick Trey blasting a ball over the fence to secure us a division title, and that was awesome.
For you personally, obviously, coming up on graduation here on Thursday here at Frostburg State, for Bryce Jackson, what's sort of the next steps? Where are you kind of looking in your career and the future of yourself?
That's a good question. We'll see what happens. I don't think you've seen the last of 35, so we'll see what happens.
All right, well, we certainly wish you the best of luck. Congratulations on your fine season individually and the team as well. We really appreciate your time all year here on the Frostburg Sports Awards.
Thank you.
All right, next up we will have Bryce's coach, Anthony Williams. He'll talk about the team's turnaround from last season into this season. Be sure to stay tuned for that as our final interview here on the Frostburg Sports Awards. On our final interview here of the year with the Frostburg Sports Awards, head coach from baseball Anthony Williams is joining us to wrap up his fine season. Coach, a big turnaround from last year, only 14 wins into this year and getting a ton more than that, reaching your first ever MEC tournament, winning a share of the North Division title. What was the storyline of being able to turn this team around?
Yeah, I think it's one thing to kind of sell the vision of the program and where we thought we could be and where we thought we could go, and then to actually go out and do it is a totally different thing. So I'm really proud of the group. I think there's a number of factors that attribute to, the success from one year to another, but really it's about building and building a foundation, and that's what we did. In 21, we played an abbreviated schedule, but I think we needed it. We needed to learn, we needed to grow, and we needed to see who could do what and assess our needs. We brought in a nice blend of freshmen and transfers. I think we had 8 freshmen and 6 transfers this year. They're really, almost half our team was new. But we had a great nucleus coming back and some senior leadership that really stepped up this year and made a big difference. And I want to thank my coaching staff, Coach Peterson, my father, Coach Rada, who left the season a little bit early, but we had Jason Paredes step up for our staff, and Dan Bittinger and Evan Morton from the athletic training and strength training side of things. Everybody played a huge role in the success this year. So I don't want to leave anybody out, and certainly every player from top to bottom made a contribution in one way or another, whether it was on the field or off. So.
You talked about having that shortened season last year, and this year got the full non-conference schedule in and were able to go down south to face some really talented teams in your preseason. And we talked about it, earlier in the season, how this was going to prepare you guys to go into the slog that is the conference weekends where you don't know who you're going to play any given weekend, games get moved around, and, that seems like it really paid off for you guys to be able to gel and get together as a team through those opening weekends and come together over this conference schedule.
Yeah, starting off the season 7-0, I think it did a few things. Obviously, put us in a good position, getting some wins and getting, I think, 7-0 or halfway to where we were in 21. But it also allowed us to build confidence, for some of our younger guys. And I think that was important, knowing that we weren't getting outside a lot in January and February, to go out and have a great start to this season. And then for us, it was being able to run a lot of different lineups out there, run a lot of different pitchers out there, and that became a theme throughout the season, even up until the very end of the tournament there in the middle of May. So I thought the schedule presented a lot of challenges, mainly because of the weather that we dealt with in March and April in the conference. We were constantly shifting from Saturday, Sunday to Monday, Tuesday, or to Saturday, Wednesday, and having the depth that we had, recruiting the depth that we did, we put ourselves in a great position to be able to overcome that better than some other teams. And I thought we were really in good position in the tournament to make a run. It just didn't work out for us in that last game against Glenville. But I had a lot of confidence and trust and belief in every single guy on our team, and especially on the pitching side, for lots of guys to be able to contribute and get outs. And unfortunately, like I said, it just didn't happen. But I think the foundation is set. We learned a ton this year, and we have a lot of contributors coming back. We're gonna really miss our 5 seniors and the leadership they provided and on and off the field. But I like to think that we're not a flash in the pan team. We're not a just 1 year and done type of team. I think we're building something. Next year is our first year out of the NCAA 3-year probation, and we're trying to build a team that can compete and get to a regional. So we'll see.
It certainly, as you mentioned, laid the foundation, and the conference really took notice. It felt like winning that share of the division title and, getting within a game or two of playing for a championship at the championship game. You talked about building to next year and losing the 5 seniors, but aside from them, and obviously they all be missed in terms of their leadership, what they brought to on and off the field. But looking at next year, bringing in another recruiting class, looking at maybe some more transfers to potentially bring into this unit, you have to be happy about where this team stands and where you're looking ahead, where last year there's a lot of question marks going into this year, and now you've kind of answered a lot of those questions. Next year, it's obviously taking the next step as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really proud of the guys, certainly the young guys that stepped in, and the first-year guys that stepped up this year for our program. Certainly credit to them. Credit to our coaching staff who works really hard and we're on the road a lot. This job is usually, now anymore it's 365. But our staff works really hard to try to identify the guys that fit not just our needs, but fit the culture that we're trying to build. And, I think that the credit to the players that come in and get the jobs done. So, yeah, certainly, excited for the future, and we'll see. We got to do it again, though.
Well, we'll be wishing you the best of luck. I want to congratulate you on the fine season that you had. Wish you, of course, the best of luck for next year, and appreciate your time as always here on the Berg Awards.
Yeah, thank you, Logan. Thanks to you and your staff for everything you guys have done all season long, providing great coverage for our student athletes and our families, and I know our guys appreciate it. So thank you.
Appreciate the words as well. We'll be back next year as we will wrap up some of the highlights of this past year in Frostburg sports. But this will do it for the Frostburg Sports Awards. Thank you, as always, for tuning in every single week. And as always, go Bobcats.